is up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing here a deck profile for my Tyranitar deck, or to be more specific, this is my single strike deck. It's been a while since I last did the rapid strike deck, and because of that I thought I might as well counter that by actually making a single strike deck. The only reason it took me so long to actually get to this particular build is because I had so many cards that I just felt was lacking in terms of building a deck. So this was finally me actually accumulating all the cards and coming up with a build that would be quite suitable to going up directly against a rapid strike deck. However, that doesn't mean I'm stopping from getting more single strike cards, and this is in no means the final build whatsoever. There is definitely going to be a lot more to this, but it's better off to show it off than to actually just talk right now. So with that being said, let's begin. However, I would like to quickly remind you guys to consider dropping a like, share, comment and subscribe if you still haven't, because it really does help. But with all that out of the way, let's begin. So starting off here, my focus will be on Tyranitar V. It is definitely a fantastic card, being the single strike of the deck. It's also a dark Pokemon, and you guys know what that means. We can actually play peers in this particular build, and that definitely just speeds things up. However, its main attack here, Single Strike Crush, at 240 damage is just absolutely insane. It's such a high amount of attack that it's most likely going to be knocking out the majority of Pokemon out there. Even if you're taking on VMAXs, 2 strikes and that's all enough for you to actually just beat them over. However, to mimic a certain way in which we might be playing for, we're going to be playing here 2 copies of Ditto V as well. It is definitely a fantastic choice to actually play if you don't have 4 copies of any kind of V. So playing 2 Ditto Vs, it's as if I'm playing the other 2 anyway, because I don't have 4 copies of Tyranitar V, I only have 2, and as a result the Ditto Vs are definitely quite suitable. Of course, we can't forget about our Houndoom engine. This is definitely very crucial for the deck itself. It is a single strike after all, and any single strike deck that doesn't play Houndoom, I have no idea what they're actually going for there, because Houndoom is definitely a really important card for any kind of single strike deck out there. So I'm choosing to play 3 copies. Some people might alter it into 2 copies, that's fine as well, but it is something that is definitely much needed for the deck, and thankfully I have 3 copies here available to play. For some supporting Pokemon, we're going to be playing here the Crobat V, self-explanatory to draw cards, but I'm adding in here the Zigzagoon. This is a card that you guys might not have seen for a very long time now because I rarely play it, but it is a very nice card to help you ping off your opponent's Pokemon bit by bit, and it is definitely fantastic. It works out incredibly well. However, onto supporters, we are playing here the Searcher cards, so 4 Quick Ball, 2 Level Ball and 2 Incense. Definitely very fantastic in this particular ratio. I highly suggest you guys obviously try out your own ratios, whatever works for you, but this is just something that has definitely been to my liking, so because of that, this is how I'm going with the particular ratios. For a bit of a disruption, or at least control of the actual board itself, we're going to be playing 4 copies of Scoop Up Net and 4 copies of Switch. Switch is kind of self-explanatory for the fact that you can just switch out any of your Pokemon that has way too high of a retreat cost. However, we are also playing here the Scoop Up Net, mainly because, yes, you guys might be recalling that I rarely play this deck in the past few builds, so to see me playing it now, well, I guess it makes sense because I'm playing 2 copies of Zigzagoon. So because of that, the Scoop Up Nets definitely help out in this deck a lot, but it does also sometimes allow you to recycle certain Pokemon out there as well. For example, you could just let your Houndooms take a few hits and then scoop it back up, it's okay. As for some utility cards, we're going to be playing here 2 Crushing Hammer to disrupt the opponent, Tool Scrapper applies the same way, and Ordinary Rod just allows you to recycle your resources. Now finally, when it comes to the actual single strike support, we're going to be playing here 2 copies of the Scroll of Scorn. Definitely fantastic here. It is not so crucial that you need to play more than 2 copies of it. It just does the job at this amount, but it is something of a secondary attack that you could actually fall back to if you have the Tyranitar taking in all your attacks. And keep in mind that Tyranitar has 240 HP, so it can take a lot of damage, making Furious Anger quite an amazing secondary option of attack. The Urn of Vitality is pretty self-explanatory as well. This deck is a single strike deck. You want to return your cards anyway. And Tower of Darkness, well, if you want to draw more cards, that's definitely a bonus. Now for some supporters, we're going to be playing here one Leon. We want to sometimes dish out the highest amount of damage possible. With the Tyranitar, you're just dealing out so much damage to the point where you're gonna likely knock out a VMAX Pokemon. Pair that with the 240 HP or the 240 damage that the Tyranitar deals, plus the Zigzagoons as well and the Leon, you're just dealing a phenomenal amount of damage. However, we are also playing here the single strike style Mustard, only 2 copies. That's what I find to work out in this particular deck. Otherwise, we're also playing 2 Boss's Orders just to get the right Pokemon to knock out. Finally, we're going to be playing here 2 copies of Piers. You guys might be surprised to see that I'm only playing 2 copies, but you're really just going to search out your Tyranitars. That's really the whole purpose of this. Other than that, you have your other cards anyway that could easily search out your Tyranitars, no problem. We're also going to be playing here the 4 copies of Research. No Marnie in this deck, there's really no need. You can search out a lot anyway, and you don't really need to worry too much about disrupting the opponent, more so focusing on building up enough energy to knock out your opponent's Pokemon. And finally, for the energy themselves, they can easily be searched out via Piers or even your Houndoom, of course. So we have our single strike energy, 4 copies because you can attach all of them pretty much to the Tyranitar anyway. We also have hiding energy, our Tyranitar is dark, plus 2 additional basic energy just in case we need it. However, 10 energy here is more than enough to get the deck rolling, so this is how things are going to be. With that being said, this is pretty much the entire deck profile, so I do hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys have fun with this as well. It is meant to be the central focus of Tyranitar here, and it's meant to be mostly for fun, but if you guys want to try and play this in locals, then by all means, go ahead. Because unlike a lot of other previous deck profiles that I've actually been doing, this one can actually hold its own for quite a bit.